have you had a pinch me moment where you were like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening right now? And if it was meeting Beyonce, that would be cool, because I would feel that way. You love the snap with the, like, what is the face where it like they all, a lot of them distort your face. Is it like so old man, old woman face or whatever?
I don't know what the face is, but it's a combination of the face and the voice. I love that filter.
What is the greatest lesson that your husband has taught you, and what do you think is the greatest lesson that you've taught him? I'm buckled in.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying yes to doing this, because I know that you are a private person. Now, being private doesn't necessarily mean shy, but were you shy as a young girl?
I think I was a little shy.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Let my family tell it? No, because I was always singing around the house and doing cartwheels and look at me, watch this type of thing. But that was with my family. So when I'm out and I'm like people that I don't know, I'm like, hi.
Yeah, you're just more reserved, right?
Yes, definitely more reserved, for sure.
The other day I read this great quote by the awesome Viola Davis, and she said, if you've been given influence, you either have to step into it or lose it, which I thought was a really powerful statement to make. And at this point in your life, you are a person of influence, and you can be if you want to be. Do you feel like at this point now, from your perspective, I could give you mine, but from your perspective, that you have embraced stepping into it?
I think I have, for sure, especially with my Wolf program. Like, I feel like that I put myself in a situation that, that is definitely going to come along with it, and I'm totally fine with that. If I could be inspiration to anyone or a role model to anyone, like, first of all, I'm humbled and I'm, flattered, but I definitely put myself in that situation because I feel like I'm a pretty dope person to be able to help people, or young girls or grown women, in, whatever way I can.
First of all, anybody who knows that they're a dope person is a dope person.
I'm so dope. It's not even funny.
That is so great. I love it. Well, I would say that you are, and especially with founding Women of Our Future. Let's talk a little bit about Women of Our Future, because especially today, in today's climate, it is the voice of the female is very loud right now. Thank God, right? But I also think when you have a voice, you have a responsibility to use it the right way, because it can be used the wrong way.
Absolutely.
So you're in a position, certainly in this community, as a woman who can influence other women in a positive way. Women of Our Future, how was that idea born, and what was the goal of it?
Women of Our Future was just a brainchild of mine that I had for a while. I wasn't quite sure, how to execute it. I didn't exactly know what I wanted out of it, but it was something that I knew I wanted to do. And then once I buckled down, figured out, what exactly I was doing it for and who I was doing it for, it was easy. I don't feel like I'm too far removed from young women who are in high school. I hope I could still be a tiny bit relatable. But that was kind of where I wanted to start. I feel like that's a very, impressionable time in your life where you would want someone to look up to, or want someone to help you through whatever it is that you're going through in those years. So Women of Our Future came just to be that. It came to be a mentoring program for young women who felt like they could benefit from having a role model or a woman influence to look up to. And really what I hope that they get out of it is just to know that they are enough. They are strong, they're intelligent, they're amazing beings who could do whatever it is that they put their mind to. And if you need help along that road, hey, we're here to help you.
Do you think that some of these young women are surprised that you're so accessible to them when they first get to meet you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that they hear the name and they want to be a part of it for that reason. And, it could be that reason alone, but I make myself very hands-on because I feel like if you want to look up to someone or be an influence to someone in this umbrella, yeah. I'm here. I've walked these hallways. I've walked these streets.
Right.
I've done, pretty much probably a lot of the same things you guys have done. And I want you to, be able to relate and talk to me about these things.
What do you think for today's young women? Like, what's on their minds? What are the things that they're struggling with? What are the things that you think they really need some help with and direction with?
I think that a lot of it boils down to self-image, self-esteem.
God, that never goes away, does it? It doesn't matter what decade it is.
It does not. It does not. I think that is still very real. I have my issues with it some days. I don't wake up and I feel cute sometimes, got to get myself together and say, you know what? You're dope. So shake it off and let's get this thing going,
Yeah, shake it off. Word of the day, dope.
You're dope.
But it's true, right? It doesn't matter. I think people might think like, oh, she has access to anything she wants. She could have somebody do her hair, do her makeup. She has a lot of money. She has to feel beautiful all the time. Sorry, you're a human being.
A very human being. Very, very human, yes. And I have the same thoughts that someone that's not in this position would have, for sure.
Okay, but here's the thing now. With maturity and with knowledge, we know what to do with those thoughts, right? So
Absolutely.
Your 18-year-old, 19-year-old self, is different than today. What have you learned now when you're talking about self-image with these young girls who sometimes look in the mirror and go, I don't feel pretty, I don't like my body, I don't like my clothes, he's not gonna like me, I don't belong here, I don't fit in. What's the message to those girls now?
I think it just goes back to knowing who you are and that it's okay to still have to be okay with being yourself. It's definitely easier said than done, but I think it just goes back to knowing that, you being you and having a strong personality and, with these school age girls, knowing that my education is very important and these things will come. It's just, I think it's just all a part of owning who you are and being okay with who you are.
You have a daughter, and oh gosh, is she stinking cute or what?
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
She's
got a little, she might be an actress.
She is a lot.
Yeah, she is so
She's
cute.
So fun.
What do you think is the greatest lesson you want to instill in your daughter?
Ooh. Oh, goodness gracious. I think the biggest thing I want to instill in her really is that she can be and do whatever she wants to do. Whatever it is that she has a passion for and she puts her mind to it, anything, she could do it.
Certainly in your family, so your husband, their father, is one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he is a legend. He'll be legendary. When you're a child of somebody who is one of the greatest of all times, I would imagine that eventually there could be some self-imposed pressure. You can ignore the outside, right? But this self-imposed of, how am I going to be my own? Great, right? So, as the mother, how do you handle and navigate that self-imposed pressure that either comes now or may come down the line as they start to get older?
Right. I think a huge part of that has to do with them just understanding that they don't have to follow in the footsteps of their dad. It's one thing to have a passion for basketball and love the sport. If that's what you want to do. Both of my boys play basketball, and they're very good at playing basketball. But my oldest son wants to be a professional snowboarder.
He wants to be a professional what?
Snowboarder.
He does?
Yeah. That's what you just told me. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's all right.
Is he good
Scary,
at it?
but very good. Very good. So I think just knowing that, it's okay to not want to be a professional basketball player just because your dad is who he is in that arena. You don't have to live up to that expectation, which again goes with what I would tell Zuri. I tell to the boys as well, is you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're passionate about it and you will work hard and have a consistent, constant, like push yourself towards doing that thing. You can do it.
I promise. Is that something that just makes you feel like that excites you to be a part of, like one of those, like a part of the foundation that just makes you giddy?
It does. Prom was an awesome time. I had a great time at prom. I went with LeBron to my prom. We had an awesome time. But in the months leading up to prom, I was talking to, friends of mine in classes, and, what are you wearing? How are you getting your hair? Whatever. And I had friends who were like, I can't go to prom, or I'm not going to prom. And I'm like, why? In high school, you're like, well, what do you mean you're not going to prom,
Right.
And back then I didn't understand that they just did not have the means or the support to be able to go to prom. So again, not knowing then, but knowing now, I'm like, that it has to be a very awkward feeling to hear your classmates talking about going to prom when this is something that you go into high school as a freshman, like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait until I'm a senior to go to prom, and you can't go.
Yeah,
So that is where
be able to. Everybody should be able to.
Absolutely. So that's really where I Promise came from, is me remembering those conversations that I had and saying, if I can help however many girls be able to, have this experience, then I'm totally like for it. Like any way I can help. We do all the schools in the Akron area, including all the public schools, Akron public schools, including St. V. And we cap it at 100 girls. We started with 50, and I'm like, we could do,
let's do more.
So we do 100 girls, and we just kind of split up the number from each school and have them come in, and we do a brunch, and they do a Q&A with me, and then we have a great time, basically shopping without having to go to the register.
It's even better. So all of these prom dresses come in, and the girls just get to shop and be accessorized.
Yes, they have their
own
own individual dressing rooms, and they get in there and have at it.
And then you're kind of like their personal shopper.
Yeah.
So they come up to you and say, Savannah, what do you think?
Yes.
Is red my color, or should I go with like metallic?
Well, not usually. They know. They pick, and I'm like, yes, that is your prom dress. They look, their faces light up, and they're like, I think it is too. So it's awesome. It's so fun to help them with that.
Like it's a total pinch me moment. Like they're having their Cinderella moment.
Yes.
Throughout like your life experiences, like you've been able to do so many things. Have you had a pinch me moment where you were like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening right now? And if it was meeting Beyonce, that would be cool, because I wouldn't feel that way.
What is my pinch me moment? Oh my gosh, that's a great question. My pinch me moment is I think, I don't know, as cheesy as it could sound or would sound, I think my pinch me moment is just waking up every morning and being.
Yeah.
Roll over, got this awesome husband who's like awesome.
And loves you so
and loves
much.
me. I have these kids who love me, and I don't know, it's just, I think that's my pinch me moment. Like every morning I wake up and I'm like, wow, like this is my life, and I'm totally okay with it.
Do you meditate?
I do. I try to meditate. I don't do it probably how I should, but definitely, I mean, even if it's something like 10 minutes a day, I have an app on my phone.
The Calm app?
Cool. Yeah.
I love the Calm app.
Yes.
I just started doing it, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. I'm like, I
Calm
feel so
app.
much better when I do this.
Yeah. I was at a basketball tournament with my oldest son last year, and the games were intense. It was a lot going on. I'm like, you know what? I need a minute.
Yeah.
I got in the car. I turned that 10-minute meditation app on.
Tamara's voice. There's something about it, right?
Tamara.
I don't know.
Tamara Everett. Oh my gosh, I love her.
I do too.
I actually Googled her. Like, does she have like her own app?
She probably should, because I look at the voices. I'm like, if it's not Tamara, I'm not sure I want to listen.
That is so funny.
And then her sleep stories are great.
That's what the sleep stories are amazing.
I always would think, like, oh God, I bet it takes me an hour to fall asleep if I'm feeling restless. Tamara's sleep stories are 20 minutes, and I know I don't make it to the end.
At all.
Right?
Never. I've never made it to the end.
Yeah, she's awesome. I love that you listen to that too.
Yes. I just had to get in the car and like, I'm bringing my blood pressure up. Tamara did it. She did it. Shout out to Tamara.
What is the greatest lesson that your husband has taught you, and what do you think is the greatest lesson that you've taught him? I'm buckled in.
Yeah. I think the greatest lesson that he's taught me is, it goes back to you could do whatever you want to do. As long as you set your mind to it and you work hard, you could do it. He is living proof of that. He has definitely taught me that. Even something as simple as, making sure that I go to the gym on a regular basis. I mean, if I just stay motivated, stay focused on that, I could do it. You can get up and you can go to the gym. You can have a heck of a workout and be so proud of yourself when you're done that, you feel like you can go out and conquer the world. But just staying the course. Yeah. He has definitely taught me that.
Yeah.
I think I've taught... what have I taught him? I think I've maybe taught him to be in the moment. To step back and be proud of yourself for whatever it is that you've accomplished. And, kind of just be in that moment. I feel like he's such a workhorse and goes so hard for his profession and his businesses and his philanthropic efforts that sometimes he just doesn't sit back and say, you know what, I did that and I'm proud of myself, and I have worked hard to be able to do these things and put myself in this position, so go me. I don't think that he does that. I don't think he did that enough, and I think that that's something that I've kind of helped him be able to do. Like, I saw him, just scoring these 30,000 points.
Oh my gosh.
And I saw that he wrote a letter to himself.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, look at there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That came from you teaching him that.
I feel like I may have had a little bit to do with that.
Oh, for sure.
And not necessarily in him writing that letter to himself, but just being able to step back and say, I did that. And I worked hard for it, and I did it. And if you, again, put your mind to it, whatever you want to do, you can do it too.